This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Hi, everyone. Have you ever seen a school bus going down the road or at a gas station filling up and thought, I bet that could make for a great home on wheels? Well, you would be correct. Missy Miller, owner of Skoolie Homes, stops by today to chat with us about the build process of taking a school bus and converting it into a home, which is actually called a schoolie. Schoolies have really been gaining popularity, and after this episode, I think you will find out why. Schoolies are an affordable way to build your custom dream home on wheels. And Skoolie Homes has you covered from finding the perfect school bus to gutting it and rebuilding it to fit your needs and lifestyle. So let's jump into the conversation with Missy.
Hello, Missy. Thanks for joining us. And Kenny and I really have very little experience with schoolies, exactly what they are. And so can you just tell us what is a schoolie?
Yes, I would love to do that. First, let me say thanks so much for having me on here. I'm thrilled to be a guest. So you know, you're not the only ones out there that do not know what a schoolie is. Schoolies have taken on popularity like crazy in the last couple of years. The simplest way to describe a schoolie is it is a custom RV. So at Skoolie Homes, we take a retired school bus, we take the seats out, we completely gut the bus, and then we build a home inside of it.
When I think of school bus, I think of like the yellow school bus that we all ride on as kids. Is that the same bus you're talking about?
Exactly. It is a retired school bus. So school buses throughout the U.S., different districts have guidelines on when those school buses have to come out of service. It can depend on if they've been in a minor crash, if they've had any rust damage, if they've aged out of the system, so to speak. So if they've been in the system for so long, even if they have low mileage, that bus can no longer be used in that system. Sometimes school systems will sell them to other school systems and they can be used again. Most of the time, school districts will put them up for auction, and then some of the county schools, actually their bus shops, this is just a little bit of trivia, their bus shops are independently owned, so those guys actually that bus cannot be used in the system anymore, and so they will actually find a buyer for the school system. One of the things we do at Skoolie Homes is we help our buyers find buses because they are just retired school buses. And we have made connections with people that sell the new buses to the schools. So schools buy new buses and then they turn in their old buses on trade. So these school bus dealers, then they will actually sell those buses to the public. And we have partnered with a few of them to send our clients there because these shops actually get these buses back up to good mechanically sound condition and then resell them.
It sounds like most of them, or maybe all of them, are previously used. Does anybody ever come to you and say, I want a brand new school bus and convert it?
We have had one client who's done that, and he actually, in the end, decided against it just because the cost of a school bus, by the time we put a home inside of it, you are comparable to the cost of an RV. And that's one of the things that our clients ask us. They're like, why would I purchase a schoolie versus an RV? And it really comes down to like three things. And it's the fact that they are schoolies, you can get them for less. You can design your own RV inside that bus for less than you can go buy a custom manufactured RV. And then there is the fact that schoolies are also built to carry our most precious cargo, which is our children. So they have steel all across the top as well as down the side. And in a crash, those school buses are going to sustain less damage than a custom manufactured RV. And then the third part, some schoolie owners don't see this as a benefit. If you're social, you'll love it. And it's the fact that when we've never been in our schoolie before that we stop at like a fuel stop, a truck stop, and somebody does not come up to us and they say, "Is that a bus?" And we just kind of smile and say yes. And the next question out of their mouth is, "Can I peek inside?"
Yeah.
And of course we're like, sure, because it's a retired school bus, and then we build a home inside of it. And it is actually one of the just yellow school buses that we took to school every day as kids. And now we're repurposing those and using them for homes.
If we could just take a step back, is this your company, and how did you get involved in this business?
Yes. So my husband and I, his name is Jeff, we are co-owners of Skoolie Homes. The company really started because we have a large family. We traveled, Jeff customized a schoolie for us back in 2009. We traveled across the country with our 7 kiddos, lived in our schoolie for 2 years, started blogging about it. Fast forward to 2015, and one of our children was a special needs child. She became a Make-A-Wish kid, and I started writing about that on the blog, and Jeff actually did another schoolie at that time because we were going to Florida. This schoolie needed a hospital bed to fit her needs. We started just talking about it on social media, and people started saying, "Hey, will you convert a bus for me?" So out of that, a company was born. We started right in our backyard, and now we have a 5,000 square foot warehouse in Kingsport, Tennessee, and employ about 10 people on our team, and just have a total fun time making other people's dreams come true.
Wow, that's a great story.
That is. When somebody comes to you for the first time with the idea of a schoolie, what are some of their top questions do they have for you? They must already, I guess, know what a schoolie is, and that's why they're coming to you, or do you get people that come to you and have no idea what they're doing?
Most of our clients do know what schoolies are. They have either seen them at tiny home shows, on the internet, Facebook groups. So they're familiar. They don't know the extent, how much or what we can do inside of that bus. So they come to us with a lot of questions. When we're at tiny home shows and people are seeing them for the first time, their first question is, do I have to have a commercial driver's license to drive it?
That's a good question.
And the answer to that question is no, you do not, because that title is turned into a motorhome or an RV title. So once it is, so once it's no longer classified as a bus, then you do not have to have a CDL. Some states, as you guys know, have, endorsements on their license to drive an RV. So if a state were to require a special endorsement on their license for an RV, a traditional RV owner, that is going to apply to the schoolie as well. That's one of the questions. Right behind it is insurance, because they're like, okay, now I'm going to build a home in it. Can I get it insured? Years ago, it was a lot harder than it is now to get insurance. Now, Skoolie Homes actually certifies all of our schoolies to meet the NFPA 1192 standard. So that is the same standard that commercial RVs have to meet to be classified as a quote-unquote RV. We go through a third-party company to get that done. Schoolies that have that certification, it's easier to get them insured. We use State Farm, Allstate. I've heard that people are using Nationwide very successfully. And it's because the community is growing so much, these insurance companies are now hearing more about it. It's not so foreign, like, what are they? And could we insure them? Skoolie Homes is actually working with State Farm, educating these agents so that they're really familiar with them, and insurance is not a big deal.
I come to you, so let's say I bought a bus from, like a county auction or whatever, and I come to you guys and say I want to convert it into an RV. Do you do everything from paint to bathrooms to kitchens, all that stuff?
Yes, we do everything.
Wow.
We actually, on our site, have a bus listing page. So the companies that we work for advertise on our page. We also have like other people throughout the community. If they want to sell their bus, they can list it on our page. So a client can actually come right to the Skoolie Homes website, pick out their bus, work with the seller. Some of the companies that we work with that sell new buses to the schools will actually deliver those used buses to Skoolie Homes. So the bus arrives on our property, and then we do everything from start to finish. So we gut it all the way to the time it drives off. And we just had what we call a bus reveal yesterday, where the client actually comes to Skoolie Homes and picks up their bus. We go through it and we talk to them about how to operate their solar, how to hook and unhook from a campsite, give them, some minimal driving tips. Hopefully they have driven something large before purchasing a bus. So we'll talk to them about that and go through all the aspects of the schoolie before they drive off. Most of our clients don't live locally. Most of them, when they contact us, they are, outside of driving distance to Skoolie Homes. We've worked with clients internationally, so we just kind of partner together online or via the phone. We have a great team in our office. We have a production manager and a project manager. They get on the phone and walk the client through the floor plan all the way for all the amenities they want, if they wanted a roof rack or if they want an awning, what color paint they want. So they talk to them about everything and the design style as well.
That was going to be one of my questions. I'm glad to hear that they don't have to come to you guys like right away in person, that they can get the ball running from wherever they're located.
Yes, and the clients that live close, and we will ask our clients, we'll say, would you like to come at certain points and visit? Because if they can, that's great, because they can move around in that space and see, wait a minute, this is a lot tighter than I thought it was going to be. So it helps if they can make a visit, but if they can't, then our team just gets in there with video and actually walks through the conversion with them right there on the video and shows them everything that's going on.
Oh, that's a great idea. And then do they have a lot of choices as far as the layout and the floor plan? Do you guys provide like standard layouts, things that you've done in the past, or do they just pick every single option and layout that they want? Like, do they have an idea in their mind already, I guess, of how they want it to look?
Okay, so most of our clients, Jeff has a running joke that he thinks that they can fit the Taj Mahal inside of a bus.
Yeah.
And he also, as much as I love Pinterest, he's not as fond of it. He's like, that is going to be the downfall right there. But all kidding aside, we have standard floor plans on our site. They can go to our site and they can say, okay, I want the Palmetto Cove. But maybe I don't need it to sleep as many as it has. So maybe I need to reduce the sleeping size. What else can I do with it? And we'll say, okay, well, would you like to put a closet there? Would you like to put a desk there? So we can tweak the plans that we have on our site to fit the buyer's accommodations. Also, people come to us with floor plans and they'll say, hey, can I do this? And then we usually talk them through it and they'll go to our site and choose one that's very close to theirs, because they've not taken into consideration, and they wouldn't know when they're drawing up, their dream plan. They wouldn't know, oh, well, the wheel wells are going to be right there, and I'm not going to be able to put, my toilet right there. And not that we can't do that. We can. There are certain things that we can do and can't do. But we talk to them about all of the challenges with their design and then say, okay, well, what are things that you must have? And one of the things that I tell our clients when I'm on a consult call is you have to look at how you're living right now and see what you are doing that's keeping you healthy physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Like, you want to be sure whatever you're doing now in your life, if you're going to live in this schooling, and I would say 75% of our clients actually do live full time in their schooling. Some of our clients come and they, just want it for a travel vehicle on the weekends or in the summer for extended vacations, but the majority of them are living full time. So I tell them, you got to figure out what is it. If you use baking to alleviate stress, then you want to make sure that you're having an oven in your schoolie that will accommodate that need. So we work with people all the way through floor plans, design style. We have several design styles on our site, but we also, listen to our clients, and our team works with them to make sure that they are being able to get exactly what they need in their custom schoolie.
I think that's great that you're taking into consideration their lifestyle and mixing it with their functionality. I think that's a smart plan.
Yeah, well, we've lived in a schoolie, so we've learned, because the first schoolie we had, Jeff and I took the front part for our bedroom, and our kids were younger. The youngest was 3, the oldest was 13. So we could kind of section them off to the back area. But once they started getting older and they came out, I just didn't feel like I had enough time in the morning in quiet. So when we built our second one, I was like, I have to have my coffee in quiet. And it keeps me sane and my children safe. I told Jeff, I was like, we need our bedroom in the back so they can still, go to the kitchen and everything and hang out in the living room, and I can still have my morning coffee in quiet. So that's why it was important to us. The way that we run Skoolie Homes and the things that we do for our clients are because we've lived it, and we love schoolies, and we love the community, and we want to set our clients up for successful schoolie living.
Do you use like traditional RV appliances in the schoolies, like Dometic or Furrion, or all the ones that Kenny and I as RVers would recognize? Are those the same types of appliances that go into schoolies when you're building them?
Yes. So we use like the Dometic or either the Coleman ACs. We use the Dometic RV stove. So we use those type of things.
Okay.
Some of our clients, we have options. There are some we call them household brands that we use, like tiny houses would use. So some of like if you want a bigger RV stove, if you want a bigger stove in your schoolie that's not the RV, traditional RV stove, then we have a couple of options. We can use those. I think it's the Dometic that has the 3-way, or the Norcold that has the 3-way fridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some of our clients want those. Some of our clients say, you know what, I don't want a DC propane fridge. I'd rather just have an apartment size fridge. So then we can use both of those. We have options for both.
Okay.
To put in the schoolie.
And then you also mentioned solar. Do most people get solar on their schoolie?
Most people start out wanting solar, and I would say probably 25% of them leave with solar. And the reason is they opt for a generator. After they really think about it, they're like, okay, I'm going to spend the same cost for solar versus a diesel generator. And if I am going to have to be concerned with, is my solar panels going to be able to get enough charge, then I won't have to be concerned with that with a diesel generator. And then the diesel generator hooks right into the diesel fuel tank on the school bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a positive there. And then they never have to worry about it. We have those clients who do solar and a generator. We're working on 2 of them right now, that they want to make sure that they can go completely off grid, not worry about the sound, even though we use the Norwald generators they're powered by a Cummins motor. We use those generators, and they're very quiet. But you know yourself in RV industry, if you go into a national park, they have quiet hours.
Yep.
So you can't use your generator. So people want to have the backup of solar.
Yeah, and the reason why I was asking is Kenny and we've actually been talking over the last week since we've been excited to talk to you about Skoolies, is that we don't see very many in campgrounds. So I'm guessing there's a lot that go into like you said, national parks, state parks, or just completely off grid. So I was just wondering how they did that. I didn't realize that there was room to have like an onboard generator as part of it.
There is. It depends on the size of the schoolie or the school bus. So like for my bus, we're converting another one right now, and it's a mid-size. I'm having to look at where, and this school bus particularly has onboard AC. So there's a lot of real estate up under the bus that's taken up by those lines. So you really have to look under there and see what will fit. So it may be with this schoolie that we actually use a portable generator just because that's all that's going to fit. And then we're going to use what we call a mid-size solar system, because you also have to look at the real estate on top of the bus. So you can't go with, you know, our deluxe solar package on a mid-size schoolie. You just don't have enough room up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into this, a lot of forethought and planning. It's a good thing that you guys know what you're doing, because I could really see somebody stressing over these things of how to make sure everything fell together and got put together in the proper way. So when somebody comes to you and they have, oh, I want this, I want this, I want that, do you say to them, but they say to you maybe, but I want to be this size? Do you then tell them, well, for all that, you need a larger size? What comes first? Is it the size of the schoolie, or do they tell you what they want and then you decide what size schoolie they need?
Usually during our consult, I will ask them about their plan and their purpose. So what is the plan for your schoolie? Where are you going to go? How long are you going to stay there? Like if they're just a weekend traveler or, 6 weeks in the summer, or you living in it full time, are you planning on chasing good weather, staying in 70 degree weather the majority of the time? Or are they going to go travel into Alaska? So I talk to them about all of that. And then, okay, what is your purpose? Are you intentional of being off grid all the time? So we talk through some of those questions. How big is your family? Are you planning on expanding your family? How long do you plan on living in your schoolie? So we go through a lot of questions during our consults when they come to us. Some people already have their bus. When they call us, they have their bus. And then a lady, for instance, did this a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, I want your full solar, I want 2 fantastic fans, and I want a roof deck.
Wow.
And I was like, what size is your bus? It's only a 7 window.
How long is that?
And that is about 30 feet.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not long enough for...
No.
Exactly. So I stand there and my wheels are turning, and I'm thinking, how do I break it to her that she bought the wrong size of bus? I let her know, okay, that is great, but we're going to work with what size of bus you have now, and let me show you what we can do for that. We go through all of those design aspects. That the roof of your bus is not going to fit a full solar package with 2 fantastic fans. That's not, and you got to put an AC up there too. So
Right.
You've got to look at all of those things. And then most of the time they're like, well, I really want the roof rack. I want to be able to crawl on my schoolie and look at the stars. So we have to talk about what is more important, and we go through those things with our clients. So we have to coach them along, because it is just like building a house. And it's like coming to me with your wish list that you want in a traditional, we call them stick and brick houses. What you traditionally want in a stick and brick, that's your wish list. Now, what can you afford, and what are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you not?
This would make a great reality show. I would love to watch this. Seriously, from start to finish, like a customer coming to you guys and you talking through the whole floor plan, almost like what's that show, Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanne? Something similar to that. I think this would
Yes.
be a very interesting show to watch, to see the
Well,
whole
we would
process.
be
Okay. I'm really fascinated by how much goes into it.
And I'm going to tell you, it would be some reality TV in our shop, no doubt.
Do you guys ever build a bus and then find a buyer, or is it always somebody comes to you with an idea and then you build it for them?
Most of the time, people are coming to us with an idea, and then we are building their schoolie. We have sold custom, our custom schoolies that are already converted to people. That happens when, like, we try to convert a bus every year, and then we take it to tiny home shows. This year, we're hoping to get into some RV shows. We want to, kind of expand out into the RV market, because at the end of the day, that's really what we are. But we build a bus for these shows, and then at the end of the year, we turn around and sell it, because then, we may visit those same shows again next year, and we don't want to have the same product. We want to have something different to
that
show.
makes sense.
So if that case, then that bus is for sale. And we list that bus on our bus listing page. Also, if people, people contact us weekly wanting converted schoolies. So we have the public in the schoolie community, they can come to our bus listing page, and they seriously pay like $25 a week to list their bus there. And with the amount of traffic we get, it's easy for them to sell their bus through our site. So that way it helps other people who want, they don't want to wait on a schoolie, then they can actually look on that site and find what they need.
I'm trying to figure out who makes up the schoolie community. Is it really across all ages, walks of life, that type of thing? Or is there more a specific group that you find associated with the community?
Most of our clients are in their 30s. So somewhere between 27 and 37 is the age of our clients. It is interesting because across the schoolie community, a lot of them are millennials. I mean, there's people from all ages and backgrounds and styles that make up the community. And it's interesting that what I find interesting is that all of these people, no matter where their background is or their age, they still identify with each other in this community. You can go to places like there is, next week, there's an event out in Arizona called Skoolie Palooza. And there will seriously be like 200 schoolies there. And that blows my mind, because when we first started in our schoolie journey, like, it was very uncommon to have like that many schoolies in a centralized location.
It's kind of just like any other brand, like there's an Airstream community, there's the van life community. Mm-hmm. It's very similar, I guess, to those communities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess as that community grows, your business has probably grown with it. Or did you guys have like a big boost right from the beginning, or was it like a gradual increase throughout the years? Have you noticed a boom at any certain time?
Oh, yes. Between 2017 and 2019, our business has doubled.
Oh, wow.
Like, okay. It is huge. And even the schoolie community itself, it has really exploded. And I think that is just more and more people are wanting to seek an affordable alternative to living. They want to seek affordable housing. So they're using schoolies as a way to get that done. And they are also simplifying their life. And if you look too, a lot of the schoolie audience is millennials. They have remote jobs. They don't want a 30-year mortgage anymore. And so why not get a schoolie or, a tiny house or an RV so that they can travel around and enjoy life?
Yeah, especially if they're able to custom build it to their specifications. That's even icing on the cake.
Right, exactly. And we sold our first schoolie, and we actually got a travel trailer, and we lived in it 6 weeks from the point of purchase to the point of sale. And we made a whole trip out west in that length of time as well. And I just I missed my schoolie. I probably would have liked it okay if I hadn't have already had a schoolie. The thing that I liked and the thing that I missed about our schoolie versus a travel trailer, traditional RV, is that I got to customize it exactly the way I wanted. So I had my storage right where I needed it. I had my toilet the exact, dimensions away from my tub. So I wasn't sitting on the toilet with my knee up against the tub or my knee into a cabinet. I could have the bathroom big enough to get dressed in it, so I got to put in what was important to me in my lifestyle. I got to actually build that into my floor plan. And so that's what I like about a schoolie. Many things, but that's one.
And then once somebody goes through the consultation and you're set to build their bus or their schoolie, how long is that process? Ballpark.
That is a really great question. And it really depends on size of bus, their design style, and our schedule. So like right now, we have a bus that's supposed to go out next week, in 2 weeks. And we had an issue with a supplier getting paint. So we're having to push back that schedule a little bit. So it really depends on what's going on at the time. Like we're in Kingsport, Tennessee. So if we get, if it's really cold, then we're going to have to push out a schedule. So we tell people to realize this is just like building a house, to average 5 to 6 months to get the entire thing completed. And then also know that there can be delays in schedule and we can adjust. We work with our clients throughout the entire process. So they're getting photos and they're getting updates. They're looped in to when a supplier is not, a supplier didn't have the paint that they requested. So it's going to take a little bit longer. And so we loop them into that throughout the entire time. But it really just depends on the size of bus, the style, and our schedule.
I think that's a pretty reasonable time frame to build something, gut it, and then build it all the way back up from nothing. I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, and a lot of times we have clients come to us and they're like, I don't want my bus for the next year. So at that point, we go ahead and put them in our schedule. We get them in contract, go ahead and start working with them. And then we work with them a little bit slower than we would a client who's like, okay, I needed my bus last month.
Okay.
So, we will also accommodate people who want to stretch out their bills just a little bit further.
I'm just curious about if people are considering doing this, what kind of loan do they typically get to finance this? Because it's not like a traditional auto loan, and it's not very similar to a traditional RV purchase. What type of loan do they typically get to do this?
Most people are getting just a personal loan when they come to us. A lot of our clients actually have money saved up. A lot of clients, they're saying, I'm selling my house and I'm going to use that money to, put down on my bus. We had one client and she was completely genius. I was shocked. I was actually a little bit apprehensive at the first, but she seriously knew exactly what she was doing and made it work for her. And she put hers on credit cards with points and payback system. So she put it on there, got no interest for like so many months or whatever, and then was able to pay that back and then rolled it over into another card, did the same thing. She completely got her bus financed with no interest at all.
Wow, that probably takes some work.
That would have terrified me.
Me too. I actually asked her, I was like, okay, because she had that one at the very end. She did stretch her build out over a course of a year. And at the very end, she was like, I only have like X amount of dollars to pay off. And I was like, would you please just email me and let me know if your plan actually worked? And she did, and it actually worked for her.
That's awesome.
And I was stunned. Most people go with their like local credit union or a bank that they've been working with for a while and get a personal loan. One of the benefits to using Skoolie Homes for the conversion is that we go through a third party and we certify that bus, as I said, to meet the national NFPA 1192 standard. So as soon as we can, our team is working on getting those schoolies listed in the NADA book. And once they have a resale value, that will open up the market for people to get RV loans.
Oh, yeah. That's probably a critical step. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so that's one of our goals for 2020. We've been working with some of that last year. The first part of that was getting certification on board, getting several. We had to have at least 5 buses certified. And I think that our 5th one will be going out at the end of this month.
So now you have also just written a book. I'm not sure if did you just write the book, or when did you write the book?
Well, we have a course. So
Okay.
We actually wrote the course first. And then someone said, it would be nice if you would write a book. And throughout our travels, I love to write because I started out just journaling about our family. And then people would say, you should write a book. You should write a book. And so a kind of a dream was born. And I told Jeff, I was like, why don't we just write a book and like teach people how to navigate a bus conversion? Like, let's just give that back to the community. And we already had the course. So we took that course and we put it in book form. We ended up adding so much to the book that now we're turning around and taking the book, adding it to the course, and then we're going to be adding to the course. It's like we started one step past. We should have started with the book and then done the course. But my mama tells me I never do things the easy way. That's the way we do it. So we started with just a very, very basic course. And then Jeff and I got together. We wrote this book together. And now we'll add that material to the course. And then we're going to go in there and we're going to add a lot of video and photos and PDFs and everything to the course. So we'll have both of those items for the DIY schoolie.
And so the book actually walks you through the steps you need to take to build out a schoolie?
It does. It walks them through the very beginning about things that we've already talked about looking at their life and seeing if the schoolie lifestyle is really right for them, if they're even a good candidate for tiny living. And then it walks them through choosing the right bus, how to inspect a bus, and then it goes through step by step the entire conversion process from gutting the bus all the way to completion.
And the book is called The DIY Schoolie Guide, a step-by-step bus conversion. Is that correct?
It is. It's a DIY schoolie guide, step-by-step bus conversion textbook. So it is laid out step by step. The goal when we were writing the book is I am a visual learner. So when I'm reading, I have to be able to visualize it in my head. Jeff is an auditory learner. So when we were writing the book, there was a lot of challenges. You can imagine. There were so many days he would look at me and he would say, you have to be at the shop. I'm going to have to tell you, like, put your hands on it, show you how to do it. We're going to have to walk through it for you to get it. And then he would be like, I'm sorry, I'm out. You are not understanding. Just, get to the shop tomorrow and you can do this yourself. So you can write it up. And I finally realized that if I could video him, then, it made things so much better. It was the goal from the beginning to have the DIY person be able to read that book and go, okay, I can visualize that. And so we go through it step by step all the way, and we just break it down and we give them options too, because some people have, a budget and they can buy tools, or they have experience that some people do not. So where we could, we gave them options. Like if you own air tools, then this was the option that you would take. If you do not own air tools, then you will need to use a grinder and you will need to take this option. So we tried to give as many options as possible and really break it down so that they would be successful in the end.
So between the book plus all the different levels of service that you provide with the company itself, and then the classroom and all the DIY information that you guys provide, why, in your own words, why was it so important for the company to provide this information for people to do the conversions on their own instead of just using your service and just doing the conversions for them?
Well, we've had several business owners and people in the corporate world ask us that same question. One person in particularly said you need to take that course off the market because you're teaching people how to do something that you have a company that can do it for them. You're hurting yourself. And I did take it off of the market for a little bit, and then I just wasn't comfortable with that because my dad always taught me to remember who I am and to remember where I came from. That's how Jeff and I live life. And we, in the very beginning, started with a Skoolie. We were in the Skoolie community. Our company was born out of that community. And it just didn't feel right to us. It didn't sit right that we weren't helping other people accomplish their dreams. We believe that we can be successful. We are successful when we give back. So that's the way we look at life, and that's the way we look at our company. And so it just felt natural to do it that way.
Well, I think that's a great answer. I love it.
So now you guys will be at this year's Know How Expo, which is an event to learn more about homes on wheels. Is this going to be your first time attending? Can you tell us a little bit about this Know How Expo? Where is it? And if you guys will be doing any seminars or classes there?
Yes. So this is the first year for the Know How. They're a new tiny home show. They're in Gainesville, Florida, and it's the first weekend in February. And Jeff and I are thrilled to be able to go because there's going to be about 45 or 50 other buses there. It's going to be full of the Skoolie community, the van community, tiny homes. There'll be other industry leaders there as well. And we are giving a speech on the cost of converting. So we will be talking about how much it actually costs to convert a bus if you do it yourself. We'll be going through tools and what tools are the most important to have and how much they cost. We'll be looking at budgeting for a conversion. And then the second part of that class is talking about how much it costs to really live in a Skoolie full time, looking at things that people might not have thought about. They think, okay, I'm giving up my mortgage, but you're going to have fuel. So we're going to be talking about, is it cost effective to live in a Skoolie versus a stick and brick house? So we will be doing that. That's one of the things that Jeff and I we did a little bit last year, and we're going more on the speaking this year. So we're getting out and speaking and holding classes and seminars and doing workshops just because we love that part of it. We love giving back and educating people about this lifestyle and how they can do it themselves. So, and it always gives us a time to get in our Skoolie and travel. We are converting another Skoolie. Like I said, it is a mid-size bus and it won't be completely finished, but we have some fun things in store for our audience to help us design the interior of that Skoolie. So we're looking forward to that as well.
One of the subjects was how much money would a Skoolie cost? Could you give us like a base idea? Does it start that way? Is there a base price and then you build upon that, or how does that work?
This past summer, we actually implemented this new tool on our website, and it's called the Estimator. So people can go to our website and they can actually choose the size of bus, they can pick a floor plan, and they can go through the entire estimator, which gives them all different amenities. So they can choose their solar or their roof rack or just the basic package. And the basic package starts around $60,000. And then people can add up from there. Some people come and they'll go through that whole estimator and they'll have all of the, bells and whistles in there. They'll be $125,000. And then it gives them an option to click, meet with our project manager, and then they'll meet with our project manager, and then they'll talk about all the things that we talked about in the past. So kind of what do we need to cut out? What can we add? What are our must-haves? Our general client usually comes in around 65. So if they don't go with solar or a generator, they can usually get into a Skoolie, so around $65,000.
So it really is reasonable. When you were saying earlier that it was a more affordable route than an RV, I was like, well, how much really affordable could it be if you're building it custom? And usually I think of custom as big bucks, but you're right. This is really an affordable alternative, and you're getting to choose everything exactly the way you want it.
Right. And even if they purchase their bus, sometimes people say, well, what are the costs of the bus? Because that's not in that $65,000 price because they come to us with the bus. But most people are purchasing buses anywhere from $3,500 to $7,000 for a retired school bus.
Wow.
So even if you factor in the cost of the bus, you can say you're under, probably under $70,000. And one of the things, some people really want to DIY it, but they don't have the space to do that, or they don't have the time to do it. So we sell what's called a starter home. People can get in a starter home for like $35,000. So they can bring the bus to us, and what we do is we get everything. We do complete electric, but then they have rough-in plumbing. They have all of their walls, and they go in there and put in their cabinetry and their beds and their desk and all of that stuff. They get to DIY that part of it. So for $35,000 starting, that's where our starter homes, their start price point is. They can still get it. And honestly, at that point, they could still move in it. They could hook it up to power at a campsite. And the only thing they wouldn't have was running water. But I mean, you don't have that inside a tent, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's a great option. I like it.
How do people find you? You have a website. What's the website, and then any social media?
So we have a website. It's skoolie.homes. And then our Instagram and Facebook is at Skoolie Homes Official. So they'll find us in both of those. And the DIY Skoolie Guide is coming out in Kindle this coming Wednesday. So your show will probably have already aired, but they can get on our Facebook page and learn all about the DIY Skoolie Guide and all the products that we have, either Facebook, Instagram. So we're doing a huge launch party January the 15th about the DIY Skoolie Guide coming out in the Kindle version.
This has been super educational for me. I'm hoping it's for Sean as well. But before we let you go, Missy, is there anything that we might have missed or anything that you would like to add?
I think we covered it. It was very fun, and I just appreciate the opportunity for you guys to have us on your show and just to educate your audience about Skoolies, and that this is really a alternative to a, commercially manufactured RV. And it's a great way to see the country and to have adventure in a customized home.
There you have it, a class of RV that Kenny and I were unfamiliar with. It sounds like there are a lot of options with a Skoolie, and Skoolie Homes can assist you in getting started with your dream Skoolie conversion. Please check them out at skoolie.homes and let them know you heard about them on Beyond the Wheel. See you in 2 weeks.
This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety. So go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.